Hello everybody, it's Max McAllister from Traxxion Dynamics, and I'm here to do kind of a part 2 and a progress on my Clearwater lighting installation, the wiring and such for the 2018 Plus Honda Goldwing. I wanted to kind of show you a progress. The installation is pretty far complete, short of wiring in switches and doing the actual connections. But as you saw earlier, I had the headlight out, and that allowed me to tap into the factory wiring harness and do a really nice job of this. So these lights down here are called the Darlas. I've opted to mount them. We've got lighted lights in the fork. So I wanted that wire kind of lays in between the two lights so it won't obstruct the view of it. These can be hung lower. You know, the bracket is kind of open to interpretation. However, the bracket is not very, it's okay, but I'm gonna go out and see this dowel here. The instructions and the stuff they send is not very good. There's a dowel in the factory fender, a little hat. If you take it out backwards from the fender, turn it around and put it from the outside of the fender through the inner fender liner, and then put this dowel, you'll have a huge metal surface to tighten down against. But even then, I can still grab this and move this. And this is as tight as I can possibly make it. So I'm gonna go, I figure if you're hitting sharp bumps and stuff, this is gonna shift easily over time. So I'm gonna run out and get star washers to put under the two segments of the dowel to give stuff something to bite on and hopefully hold a little tighter. So I routed this up and behind the brake block here. Actually, on this side, you have to pull the bolt out and to get the cable to go behind. And from there, you're going to follow the factory brake lines back into the bike and zip tie along the way. Back up against the back wall in there, you can turn the cable and head it back up towards the fairing bracket. So in here on either side, I did something I thought was extra sexy. I passed the cable for the Savina lights through the Honda's factory boot, and then I zip tied it so that it can't slip. They'll be basically in the same place. So we'll tuck, Honda's wire has excess wire, and the Savina will have excess wire, which you tuck down in the fairing. But I thought that was a nice little touch there. I remember you remember it was quite looking like spaghetti up in there before, so now this is you really can't tell it's not a factory install at this point. So one thing I like to do anywhere I've got zip ties, whenever you cut a zip tie off, I always like to rotate the head of the zip tie to where it's least likely to be seen, so it's least ugly. So I do that in there. The cabling now, same thing over here. I did the same thing, passing the Savina cable through the boot. I used industrial Velcro on the brain box and stuck it to the headlight in a pocket in the headlight, and it may be that I can show you that. This was in case the headlight ever had to come out and required, you know, some sort of service on that level. But I'm going to take the camera here myself and try and aim this around. So sorry, it's a little wobbly. So down in there is the brain box. If you see those wires going in, you'll have to kind of just look. I've routed everything up. It's all strapped neatly to the fairing bracket. And, you know, in fact, there's a zip tie that's ugly that I don't like. I'm going to roll its head out of the way because I don't like looking at them. There we go. Looks better. And I don't have the fairing liner in on this side yet because I wanted to show you the routing pathway that I took here. So can you hold this right kind of there? So this is time consuming and painful to deal with, but what I did is inside of here, the wiring is all passed. There is a oh, my finger's in the way. There's a metal down tube here, and you want to pass the wires behind that down tube. And then I took a die grinder, or you could use a uni-bit or whatever, and I blew a hole in the plastic, it's just a plastic divider wall here, for all of the harnessing to pass through. So all the wiring is inside of the fairing bracket, and it can't be rubbed on by the panel once I put the panel back in. So everything is clean there and installed. It's all passed through here. So I've got a bunch of other accessories coming this way. And so there's pathways here for this stuff to come through. And I've got it worked in with the factory harness. I've passed it behind this block here. You just pull that bolt, that'll lift up. You can put the wiring behind it. I put some protective wrap on this because my switches are going to be here by the driver's knee. And you know, the parking brake is here, so if this is going up and down over time, I don't want it to scrub on the wires in any way. I'm added a second switch to turn the whole system on and off. So I'm putting a switch in line on the 12-volt switched wire, which will allow the owner to turn the Darla lights off. As the system is delivered from Clearwater, those lights are on. If your bike's on, they're on. And so I'm not a fan of that, but it's a simple fix. And then you'll need, if you want the switch, a lighted switch, you need a place to ground. There's a convenient place there. I put an eyelet underneath here, and so it's ground. I've got a ground wire there that'll go to my secondary next switch we're putting on here. So that's what everything looks like wired and installed. The final connections and stuff will be done on another day on another video. And then once we have the whole lighting assembly installed and everything, we'll kind of show you what it looks like turning it on and how it functions and everything. But this level of cabling and wiring is obviously complex, as you can tell at this point. So I just thought you might want to see this and know how important it is to have it done right, because no ordinary mechanic is going to pull this off. You'll have wiring. I mean, this is moving suspension parts here. You want to have this cabled properly, routed properly, so that nothing ever gets chopped, cut, grounded, or shorted out, and looks like the factory put it there originally. So there you go. There's a look at it. My name's Max. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share with your friends if they're interested in doing this kind of lighting install on their bike. And please subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep this cool content coming. And one more thing, I do have a join button. If you click that, for a couple bucks a month, you can support my channel. That also offers you discounts on all the products that our company sells here with our name, our brand on them at Traxxion Dynamics. So you can get hundreds of dollars of savings a year for a couple bucks a month if you're interested. So thanks a lot.